Shooting your own men in the back of the face. Is it okay? An age-old question that I'll look to answer right here. In Total War, it's no secret that the friendly fire from missiles, artillery and magic is real. But is it really a problem? I ran a few controlled tests to try and figure this out. So the first thing I tried was having a unit of Orc Boys fighting a unit of High Elf Spearmen. Two units that cost roughly the same and will have a fairly even matchup. I've got two clean engagements of this, Orc Boys fighting High Elf Spearmen, and what I'm going to do is one of them is not going to have any archers firing over the top of it, so it'll be a straight up one-on-one fight. Then we can see who does more damage and survives better in a clean one-on-one. But then the other group, I'm going to have the Orc Boys being shot at by my High Elf archers. They're going to be firing over the heads of my own spearmen, and we'll see if the damage is really a problem. Will the majority of the missiles land on the Orc Boys, or will a fair amount of them hit my spearmen in the back? And you can notice the two different trajectories of the arrows. Some of them are really low and shallow in their curve, and some go up really high and come down straight over the top. So the ones that go up high are more likely to miss my units, I think, the spearmen units. And thus I really want the unit to be firing up high, like they are now most of the time. Not that we have any control over that. The clean matchup over here is a pretty even one. The health lost on both units is pretty much the same, so anybody's guess will win that. On this side though, the Orc Boys are pretty much beaten down to half health, while my spearmen have only lost a quarter of their health. So that's quite a big difference, and that's with the arrows coming in, hitting my spearmen a little bit, but mostly hitting the Orc Boys. So making quite a big difference. And from that, you can kind of conclude that it's completely fine to shoot over your own unit's heads with archers. Obviously with handgunners and thunderers, things that fire in a low arc all the time, like guns, you can't really do this, and they'll probably refuse to fire because they'll be obstructed anyway. So it's going to be all about the archers that can fire up and rain the missiles down over the top of your unit. And we can see this unit of Orc Boys is about to waver and rout. The spearmen have defeated them with the help of the archers. The other clean engagement over there is pretty much 50-50 still on who would win. So the archers have made a huge difference and have allowed the spearmen to win, even firing over their own unit's head. I did reverse this test as well and have it so that I had goblin archers firing over the heads of Orc Boys to hit the spearmen, and it went the other way. The Orc Boys were able to win because of the help of the arrows. So, don't be afraid to shoot over your own unit's heads, as it can make all the difference. I then decided to run this test with artillery instead of missiles. Same matchup, Orc Boys and Spearmen. Is the damage that will be done to my Orc Boys by my own artillery worth it to take out the Spearmen? Or is it going to hit my own units too much and really not be worthwhile? We've had one volley come in and hit the Spearmen pretty well. Here's a second volley. Ooh, it mostly hit my Orc Boys, and they took a pretty big hit from that. They lost quite a lot of health from all that artillery hitting them in the back. Didn't really hit the Spearmen that time, that one. So, let's see what another volley does, where this lands. It's about even at the moment. Orc Boys winning a little bit. Here comes another volley. Hit the Spearmen a little bit there. Mostly missed the Orc Boys. Oh no, one over here hit the Orc Boys. But overall what I found is that it's far less predictable with artillery to know whether you're going to hit your own unit or hit the enemy. So it's kind of, you might do more damage to the enemy or you might hurt yourself more. But then that begs the question of, is there a time when this is okay to hit your own unit more than the enemy? For instance, Swordmasters of Hoeth, a very dangerous, powerful unit fighting Orc Boys. They're obviously going to destroy the Orc Boys. But with a bit of artillery, we can hopefully do a bit more damage to the Swordmasters of Hoeth than the Orc Boys would do by themselves. Just absolutely hammered my Orc Boys in the back there. They're starting to waver already. A couple of hits coming in. Landed a nice one there. So Orc Boys have routed. Swordmasters have lost about a third of their health. So at the end of the engagement with the Orc Boys, before they routed, a third of the health damage to the Swordmasters. Over this side, a clean one-on-one engagement. Swordmasters nearly a quarter of health down, and these Orc Boys, of course, taking a bit of a pounding, but they've been able to hold longer than the ones that have been shot by artillery. Another unit of Orc Boys ready to hold this one off. But that's the problem, if you shoot your own unit and they rout very quickly, you're going to have a hole in your line, so that's another thing to consider. These Orc Boys now have routed though, the clean engagement, and the Homemasters, oh for God's sake, the Swordmasters have lost about a quarter of their health rather than a third. So is it worth sacrificing your cheaper unit to do more artillery damage to the expensive unit? I'd say it's too risky, and the difference is negligible. And then I thought I'd try Swordmasters versus Orc Boys with two units of Goblin Archers shooting at the Swordmasters. And we'll see how much damage we can do from that. So no artillery now, it's just going to be a straight up one-on-one fight with the missiles over the top. And we'll see how much damage we can do. It's still kind of inevitable that the Orc Boys will break. They're unlikely to be able to defeat Swordmasters even with the help of arrows. You can see we're doing a lot more damage to the Swordmasters though. Orc Boy's about to go. Swordmaster's down to over half health, just over half health. So that's considerably more than the artillery was doing. Still holding, and they're gone. So you can see the missiles have certainly helped a lot in damaging those Swordmasters, and that sort of thing is going to help a lot when dealing with elite tier units. Conclusion, I would say it's completely fine to shoot over your own unit's heads with archers. The damage you do to the enemy will far surpass the damage you do to your own unit, so it's completely worthwhile. For artillery, however, I'd recommend that you don't shoot over your own unit's heads because it's just too risky and unpredictable. Yes, there's a chance you might hit the enemy units more and help your unit win, or you may do the opposite and make your unit lose. This game of chance and risk is far too unpredictable and something that no commander of any army would want. The more control we can have, the better. And as for magic, that's of course much easier to control because we can choose where the spell goes, except for vortexes, which may do their own thing, but again, they're kind of luck of the draw. Anyway, I hope this helps. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the future.